Her words tumble down, one by one, through her brain like this. Your mom is not our mom. Real mommy. Her voice can be hard to understand. Madison must concentrate on it very hard, all the way to kindergarten. She can't stop thinking about these words until now. She's thought of her mommy as mommy and her daddy as daddy. She realizes, though, that her sister is right. This isn't her real mommy, only a woman. The woman's husband is only a man. She wants to ask her sister where their real mommy is, if her sister is with her. She doesn't know how to talk back to the voice, though. Madison has always known that she was adopted. You weren't born from my belly, honey, but from the love in our hearts, and that makes you extra special. They have made her understand that she has a whole culture that doesn't belong to them, only to her. And they've bought her books of folk tales that are full of kids with faces like her own. She finds it strange, then, that they haven't told her about her sister. What are you thinking about? Though Maddie B., the woman asks Madison, looks to see her eyes watching her in the rearview mirror. My sister, she says she hasn't mentioned her before. You are. The woman says, her eyes crinkling for only a second before she forces them to look friendly again. Sister? You mean my sister, Aunt Julie? No, she says coldly, mine. She turns her face away and looks out her window. She isn't going to talk anymore if the woman is going to be a liar. At dinner, the man asks, why the long face, hon? He shares a glance with the woman, and Madison knows they've been talking. Her sister's voice says, don't answer them, and so she doesn't. The man and woman both agree. Look at her, concerned. Is it because of that documentary we watched? The woman asks, her voice full of sugar. That show on PBS about the sisters who were adopted by two different families across the whole world from each other. Do you understand that just because that terrible thing happened to them doesn't mean it happened to you? Did that show make you sad, P? Says the man. Do you want to talk about it? I want to go to the ocean, Madison says, and throws down her fork. No matter what they try to say to her for the rest of dinner, this is her only answer. At bedtime, the woman is late coming to tuck her in. Madison lays in her bed, curiously listening to her thump around the attic. When the woman finally comes into her room, her hair is messy and has a long, dusty cobweb clinging to it. Madison doesn't point this out. The woman has something in her hand. I didn't mean to take so long, the woman says. But look what I found. She presents Madison with the object in her hand. It's a ceramic dolphin. The dolphin is leaping as if out of the water. The ceramic water is sparkly and blue and allows the dolphin to swim. This was mine when I was a little girl. I remembered how much I used to love it tonight when you talked about going to the ocean. She sits down on the bed. It's winter, you know. It's too cold to go to the ocean now. We can talk about going in the summer, though, when it's warm and sunny and Daddy has some time off work. Would Madison talks to the dolphin rather than to the woman. I want to go to the ocean to see my sister. The woman stays in her room for a long time, talking about feelings and responsibilities and imagination, and how we sometimes can't have all the things we want. Madison pretends to fall asleep after the woman turns off the light and leaves her room. Her sister's voice says, there he is. Madison reaches in the dark and pushes the dolphin onto the floor. In the morning, she gets out of bed and hides the pieces in the pocket of her coat, which is hanging on a plastic hook on her door. When she comes downstairs, the woman is sitting at the table, talking to someone on the phone. She doesn't realize that Madison is behind her, but you're sure there were no other survivors, the woman is saying. No siblings? The reason I ask, and I know this sounds crazy, but she's begun talking about having a sister. She loves to show just how crazy she feels saying it. And I was just thinking, I mean, twins can be unusual, right? They can have a connection. So if she's right and her sister survived, no, I see. Yes, I just thought it would be worth calling to confirm. Thank you for talking to me. You too. She puts her phone on the table and only then notices that Madison has been listening. The woman jumps up and runs to her, then crouches and hugs her tight. The woman is crying. She pets Madison's hair and tries to squeeze her tighter, but her little pink coat is too plushy for her to get close. She's saying, baby, baby, baby. Madison says nothing. On the way to school, Her sister shows her angry pictures of a long skinny boat at night, packed with too many people. The boat is sinking, and the people are hurting each other in fear and panic. Some people have fallen over the side and are floating face down in the water. A woman is standing, trying to keep her baby safe. It's hard for her to stand with the way the boat is rocking. There's mist on the water. It smells like salt and fish. There's a heaviness in Madison's chest as she watches it. She is happy when they get to school, and the pictures stop. The woman feels bad about earlier with the phone. Madison knows this because when the man brings her home from school, he tells her not to go upstairs yet. Let's go to the dining room, champ, and talk to your mum for a minute. The man is all smiles, and so is the woman when they walk in together to see her. How was school, baby? She asks. Her sister's voice says something rude, and Madison smiles. Well, the man says, must have been a good day to get a grin like that. The woman kneels where Madison is standing and takes the girl's hands in her own. Guess what, Maddie B? I talked to Grandma today about how you've been wanting to go to see the ocean and how bad I feel that we can't take you. She said that if we could let you stay home from school tomorrow, that she and Grandpa can take you for the weekend. Daddy and I discussed it, and we both think it's a wonderful idea. What do you think? You would leave tomorrow and come back Saturday afternoon? The woman does a tada with her open mouth and raised eyebrows. Madison looks from her to her husband and then nods that yes, this will be acceptable. The old man and the old woman pick her up when it's still dark out. For a long time, Madison sleeps in her coat and gloves in her car seat. When she awakens, the old man is singing a song. The old woman notices that she's up and coos. Did this old fool wake you up with his sea shanties, baby? She slaps her husband's arm, and he responds with a fake pirate chuckle. They drive for hours. When they arrive at the ocean, Madison is upset to find that the beach is just plain sand. Her sister says, this isn't real. Right. Still, despite their failure, when the old people unbuckle her, they look like they believe themselves to be the two most heroic people who have ever given a little girl anything. The beach is freezing and empty. Madison is miserable walking along the shoreline between them. When the old woman notices, she asks, what's wrong now? Isn't this what you wanted? This isn't right, Madison says into the flaps of her coat. They're wet and covered in spit from her breathing. Your mom told you it would be too cold, the old man says. Still, we drove you all this way. Don't you think it's mean to us to not be grateful that we brought you? This isn't right. Madison screams, which causes the old woman to let go of her hand and kneel in front of her, taking a hold of each arm of her coat to hold her in place. You watch that attitude, Missy, the old lady scolds her. Grandpa and I did this very nice thing for you, and all you can do is throw a tantrum. Apologize to Grandpa now. Madison bares her teeth. This isn't right, she growls. Well, the old woman says, then we can head back right now, if that's how you're going to be. Grandpa, take her back to the truck. I'm going to use the facilities, and I'll be right there. She rises slowly, and then marches off towards a porter John that's sitting at the edge of the sand away from the water. Her sister's voice says no, don't go, find me. As the old man drags her through the sand, Madison pulls and tugs and does her feet so they won't walk. Quit your fussing now, he says out of breath. You're just going to get yourself into more trouble. No, I need to go potty. The end. This causes him to stop. He eyes her like he thinks he might uncover her life from only her face. Do you really? Madison nods. She's crying now, and her cold tears are causing her to shiver. Fine, he sighs. Go see your grandma. I'll wait for you here. Madison darts off in the direction of the porter John. A strong wind blows off the sea. She lowers her head against it and tucks her hands into her coat pockets. The door to the porter John opens just as she arrives in front of it. Maddie, the old woman cries, where's your grandfather? Madison doesn't stop running when she gets to the door. She plows ahead and collides with the old woman, who loses her balance and falls backward on top of the hole where she's done her business. Her sister's voice says, pocket, pocket, pocket. Madison pulls her hands out of her coat pockets, each one holding sharp slivers of the ceramic dolphin. Another strong wind blows the porta-john door closed behind her, shutting them in. When she finally comes out, she's warm in her coat and drenched in sweat. She has returned her hands to her coat pockets to hide how messy they've become. "Where's Grandma?" the old man asks when he sees her. "She fall in?" He smiles like they're friends again. "She's sick," Madison says. "She said she wants you to get her pills. They're in the truck. Sick." His face is concerned, and he starts towards the porta-john. "No, she needs her pills. She said to make sure you brought her pills." Which pills?" the old man yells. "What pills does she mean?" She says they're in the door. She left the one she needs in the door of the truck. "Okay," he says, fluster. "Let's go find him. I'm going to go back in case she needs me." His face says he doesn't know what to do. He shouldn't let her stay on her own, but maybe the old woman really might need her help. "Okay, go to the John and wait for me. Don't walk away from that John though, Maddie. Can you be a big girl and do what I say?" She nods that she can, and then takes off down the beach. She glances behind her to see the old man's sly look, attempt to hurry through the soft sand to the truck. When he's far enough away, she changes her direction and heads towards the ocean. Yes, fine. The water is cold. Even through her shoes, the waves frighten her. She thinks of those terrible pictures of the sinking boat and the screaming people. She's frozen there at the edge of the water. She has the terrible thought that she wishes she was in her room in the warm house with a man and woman. Her sister's voice encourages her. "Swim, swim, 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 swim." "Maddie, stop," calls a voice from behind her. She turns around. She turns and sees that it's the old man. He's coming towards her, but he's far away. "Get away from the water, Maddie. No, she has always been such a good girl. Has always done as she's told." As her sister continues to call for her, she remembers that this is not her grandpa. He's just an old man, and she doesn't have to listen to him. Family, though, is family. Madison turns away from him and looks out across the misty water, and then she holds her breath and takes a step forward, into the sea. "It was our anniversary yesterday. We've been married for 20 years now. A lot of couples would have had a fancy dinner to mark the occasion, or maybe pop the cork off a bottle of champagne to celebrate. But those people aren't us. Instead, my 80-foot boat. It was our own little kind of extravagance, and sailed from Biscayne to the deep Atlantic. No land in sight for miles to spend the day deep-sea fishing. Frank had been a merchant seaman for going on 10 years, and it gave him a permanent taste for the salty tang of oceanic air. I swear that man spent more time at sea than a lot of people spend on land. For him, it was almost a home away from home. For me, not so much. There was always something about that great body of roiling, swelling water that put me ill at ease. It was like spending time with a maniac or some dangerous animal with a mind of its own. The sea can